Within this section, we are going to highlight some of the new features for CAM in recent versions, from the interface changes to roughing and finishing operations. We will start out with highlight coloring. Pressing the 9 key, you can turn on the original model colors. By default, the colors will appear as gray when you activate the CAM navigator, except for whatever is highlighted within your selection of the tree. So as you can see, when we pick the object, it shows up with a color for the highlight and everything else appears gray. Very similar to this, if I press 0, it enables the feature highlight. So toggling 0 turns that on and off from outline. Add operation, although similar, has also changed a little bit. It now displays all of the active operations, and if it's not an operation that's selectable in this circumstance, it'll show a lock symbol next to it. Within the operation interface, you will see everything is divided up into tabs as well. Observe the Post-Processor tab. This is a new tab that allows you to edit the speeds and feeds specifically for an individual operation. If there's a tool change, you can use the Update Cutting Conditions to be able to edit that cutting condition to the new tool. Continuing with the operations menus, including wire, there is a tooltip help menu. For each individual item you select, it's going to give you different information in this tooltip menu to explain what that specific area is doing for the operation. Next, we'll talk about Global Roughing Hybrid, and the new enhancements that have been added within this module compared to the original. You'll see in this instance, based on the same parameters, that the Roughing Hybrid for the new operation builds a lot faster than the old operation. Observe the operations do look a little different compared to each other, and the prediction for the speed at the machine is shorter for the new Roughing Hybrid operation compared to the old. Now we'll compare the two cutter paths in Toolpath Lab. We're going to start with the old operation, and you can see how the cutter path is going to show up based on the different steps in the ordering. Then, if we go to the new cutter path, you'll see that this takes a completely different approach to how it's going to rough out the operation. If I turn on the segments and arcs, you can see how there's more arc support within the new operation versus the old operation. So you can see the pink is our arc here, and this is going to create a smoother cutter path in comparison to the older operation, which has more segments and point-to-point operations. With this said, in the posted code, you'll see more G2 and G3 operations in the new hybrid operation comparison to the old. So here's a side-by-side of the post comparisons, and you will see a lot more G2s and G3s within the post. Here's just a few highlighted in the operation comparisons. Finally, with roughing, we will show the incremental step-downs. Using the retract step-down within the operation menu, you can create some independence within the step-downs for blended areas. So you can have a smaller step down based on certain areas of your model. So if I rebuild this operation, you will see the completed operation have a smaller step down based on the blended area comparison to the side walls. Moving to global finishing, this new operation allows you to combine steep and shallow areas into one finishing operation. In Add Operation, I will select Global Finishing. Then, I'm going to choose my tool, which in this case will be a 3/4 inch bullnose. As you can see, the operation looks very similar to most, but we have the slope management area. Within this area, I'm going to go ahead and leave machine slopes separately turned on. After that, I'm going to change my step down to be a bigger value, and then confirm. Once confirmed, we'll go ahead and build the operation. You will see when the operation is complete that it's going to combine your waterline for the steep walls, and your raster for the shallow walls. And the machine slope area, separate, will subdivide the steep and shallow areas of the part. Looking at it in another view, you can see all the rapids that it's going to be creating as well. Now we're going to talk about max shallow angle. This value defines the threshold angle of the subdivided steep and shallow areas. So in this case, we're going to turn off machine slope separately and turn this on to 45 degrees. When I build the operation, you will see that it's going to change the results just a little bit in regards to how it's going to form the steep and shallow areas. For example, I'm going to edit this again. I'm going to change it from 45 to 90 just to see what the results are when we change that max shallow angle. You'll see the operation completely changes based on those parameters that we've changed for the slope and shallow angles.